Welcome back to the Total Focus Podcast. I'm your host, Paul. Our special guest this week is the reigning Miss Teen USA 2020. Heavyn McDaniels is on the show. I am so excited to have our state representative representing, in my opinion, one of the best pageants in the entire pageant ecosystem, representing my state on the show. Heavyn is on the show. This is an incredible young lady, as you're going to listen to in the next hour. She's a one of a kind, coming out of nowhere to win her first pageant and win the biggest pageant of all, winning Teen USA Maryland and her first pageant only. This is a great opportunity to learn from her and get some really deep insight, on top of talk about her expectations out of winning, as well as preparing for Teen USA. So please stay tuned. Our sponsor of the week is Mid-Atlantic Video and Photography Productions. No matter if you need photos or video, they are the team to get the job done. No matter if you need wedding photos, special event photos, or even professional headshots, they can help you. And if you are in need of a wedding videographer doing a commercial or a corporate event and you need a videographer, Mid-Atlantic Video and Photography Production is the team to get the job done. And welcome to the show.
Good morning, Paul.
Well, welcome to the show, Heavyn. I'm so excited to have our local Miss USA teen on the show. So it's always great to have our Maryland delegation represented, and I'm always excited to work with the local title holder. So, and I wanted to bring you on specifically because from our short photo shoot we did, you had mentioned this was one of the first pageants you did, if not the first. Is that correct?
Yes, this was my very first pageant that I ever competed in.
So, talk about going for broke and going for the best system and going for one of the most elite titles in your age bracket. So that's pretty awesome.
Yeah, it was insane because when I went into the competition, I really had no expectations. Like this is a big pageant system. It's my first time competing. And so I try to keep my expectations very low for where I was going to place. And then when I won, everybody was surprised. I mean, I was, of course, like so excited, but
You know,
definitely surprised.
no, and I would love to say it's uncommon to have the teen category have someone come out of nowhere, but it seems to be the normality in Maryland. Last year's title holder never competed in a pageant system either, so you're in very warm company. And then several years before that, the title holder in the teen category never competed in a system. So I think it's just it's something to do with being natural and not being too prepared, and
Yeah,
being
it's
yourself.
it's yeah, it really helps to because a lot of times I feel like in front of judges you want to say anything you can to please them, but like when you're brand new, you don't really know what that is. So it's a lot easier to just stay genuine when you're brand new.
So for all of our listeners out there that are trying to really stay humble and stay genuine, and they want to win your title, let's break it down. So do you have any previous to actually doing this pageant system? Were you playing sports? Were you playing an instrument? Or were you just being a typical teenager going to school?
Oh, I wish I was musically inclined. I've done cheer for the past 2 years and I've danced since I was really little. So I've always liked, being on stage and like, I don't know, putting on a show because that's essentially what dance and cheer is. So I've had some experience on stage, but never to the extent that like what a pageant is. So that was completely brand new for me, but I'm sure it definitely has helped that I've had experience on stage and, like, in front of an audience.
So do you think that doing that type of dance performance and having stage um, time and opportunity made it more less awkward and more natural for you to be out there, or like you were saying, it's not really comparatively, or or did that time help to make you feel more natural?
I think it helped a little bit because the audience didn't scare me as much as if I didn't have the onstage experience, I feel like, but it was still very awkward because I was doing something that I wasn't comfortable with at all. Like cheer and dance, you practice for months on months every single day to get a perfect routine. And at the competition, I hadn't yet figured out what my routine was supposed to look like yet. And so it was still a little bit awkward, but I feel like it really did help. Just like, playing in an orchestra or in a band and um presenting that to a group of people, I feel like that would help too.
So do you think being on a stage with an audience would be in some capacity be a good way of really working on those skills, or is that not as important as the interview? Because in all sincerity, the interview is half the score. So
Yeah.
um you must have crushed the interview as well. So um meaning you did really well. So did like what's your thought of it? Because you've held the title for 6 months. Have you thought about this and really thought exactly what you did well?
Yeah, I've really been thinking through interview because interview is, of course, like one of the biggest parts. And it's funny because at the competition when I did interview, I had never done an interview before. So I had no clue what a good interview sounded like. And it's funny because at the very beginning of my interview, I walked in and I kind of stood at the door because they weren't ready for me yet. So they were like, "Oh, like we're not ready for you." But they never said leave, they never said stay. So I was just kind of like at the door being hesitant, and so then I was like, I'm just gonna go out and wait," and they were like, "Yeah." So it was kinda that awkward beginning at my interview, and I was like, "No, I just bombed it." But then I went in and I sat down, and they were asking me questions, and it was kind of like having a very good conversation, you know? Like, the answers just came and the questions came, and it was nice because the judges were really kind, but I still didn't know what a good interview sounded like. So I went out, I was asking other girls, like, how did theirs sound? And then after a few girls that I asked, I just realized that everybody was gonna have a different experience because everybody's paperwork was different because, every girl is different. So I just stopped comparing myself to them and just focused on mine.
So is there anything that you should be prepared for that interview that really stood out to you? Is it you were saying that you felt awkward? Is that something that you can prevent, or is that just something that's natural based on anyone who hasn't had that experience yet, or your age, or just or life experience?
Yeah. I think it most definitely is something that you can prepare for. I didn't really know how to prepare for interview before I went in. I like, like of course like I practiced answering questions, but my mistake was I didn't practice in front of a group of people and I didn't have them just randomly throw questions at me. And so I feel like if you stand like in front of a group of people and practice speaking to them like clear and loud, it helps a lot.
Now, is that something that you did previously? Were you practicing with your family or your friends?
Yeah, I would have, my mom and, like, a few close friends, they would just kind of throw questions at me and I'd try and answer them,
And
like, just, like, on the spot.
okay, so going in, did you feel that you had those stage presence and the interview pretty much understood, or after going into it, was it nothing that you imagined and it was even harder?
Um, Going into it, I didn't have any expectations for any of it. Like, I knew everything was gonna be difficult because I had never done it before. So I was already mentally prepared for that. But when I got in, it was everything was just nothing that I had ever experienced. So it was easier to just go on the flow and try and learn as everything was going on.
So the other component is picking out outfits. So how did you feel about your outfit? Did you get any advice on the color or the type of outfit you should wear, age appropriate, etc.? Did that just happen to
Um
come together naturally?
Yeah, that actually well, me and my mom, we love fashion, and I'm the only girl in the family. So, like, all, like, my grandma and my mom, they love dressing me up. So, I I naturally have, like, a closet full of really fancy stuff. And I didn't have a coach before the pageant, so the outfit was really just me and my mom, and it was a statement pair of, like, silver bejeweled high heels and a black dress, like a simple black dress with just, like, statement puffy shoulders. But as soon as I walked into the room, all the judges were like, "Oh my god, I love your shoes," or like, "Oh my god, I love your dress," and that made me feel a lot better.
Well, clearly you went for like simple classic, and always having beautiful shoes on is always a compliment. So, is that like if you were going to an event, is that the style that you would naturally present to people, or were you really trying to put on a good show or face for the judges?
No, I feel like that's a style that I naturally present. I have a wide variety of styles, but when I'm going to something, more professional or like an interview, that is a style I would go for. But I love like a statement something, whether it's statement shoes or a statement outfit or a statement necklace. I feel like if you have that statement something, it's a lot easier to stand out.
Now, for the interview, were you wearing any jewelry, or were you just going natural with the dress, the jumper with the high heels?
I think I had on a very, very, like, simple, delicate little necklace, a little diamond necklace, and diamond earrings, but they were little too. I had, like, very minimal jewelry. My hair was straight, and I had like, extremely minimal makeup on. I think all I had on was, like, lip gloss and, mascara,
So do you
and, like,
think
a little bit of eyeshadow.
okay? So do you think going that way was a benefit that made you seem more innocent and more like a teen?
I think so. I think that a lot of times girls do their makeup very mature, and so they come off looking a lot older than they naturally do. Just because, like, at our age, it's hard to be as experienced with makeup as, older girls are. And I didn't want to do my makeup because at the time I was terrible at it. And so I didn't want my lack of skills to ruin my interview. So I just thought it was best to go with what I could do.
Have you been working on that skill specifically to do your own makeup, or are you looking to have your makeup done professionally to make it look more age appropriate?
It's definitely a skill that I've been working on. We have a makeup artist, his name is Adnan, and he is one of my favorite people on this planet. But he taught us, like me, because it's me in New York, and then the New York Miss and my Miss. And so we all went to boot camp, and at boot camp, we had makeup lessons. And he's such a good teacher. I finally learned how to do my own makeup, and he's the best. So I've been practicing at it for a little bit.
Um, During quarantine, has that given you the opportunity to really find your makeup like style and really define it? Like, do you feel that you're confident that you would want to walk in public and even perform on stage doing your own makeup, or do you think you still want some more practice doing that?
I am most definitely not at that level yet. Hopefully, I'll get there soon. But quarantine, it was rough because everything closed down, like all the stores and stuff. So I couldn't go out and get makeup. And it's hard to practice with something that you don't have. So until very recently, I was able to like actually go on and buy makeup so I could practice at home. So hopefully soon, now that I have everything that I need, I will be able to I feel confident enough to go on stage or like to go out in public with my skills that I have.
What's your game plan? Are you have you divided, like, are you going to spend like a couple days just putting your makeup on and off and practicing styles? I assume that you're gonna do the same thing for interview too, but like, what's your thought on that? If you now have the equipment to actually start practicing.
Yeah, I think well, what I'm planning on doing is just doing a different style every day because that's also something that I have to get used to. You know, I went all quarantine, every day, no makeup. So I need to get my skin and my face ready to have like a full face of makeup on all day, every day. So that way, when I do go to Miss Teen USA, my skin isn't like, oh my God, what are you doing? It's like, oh, okay, this is
But maybe
normal.
that also was good because it gave your skin opportunity to depress. I know that foundation sometimes makes people break out, so maybe that gave your skin an opportunity to just breathe a little bit. So maybe that would be a benefit too.
Yeah, for sure. And it most definitely helped me out on my skin routine too.
Do you have? Well, that's a good question right there. Do you have a routine when it comes to um, morning routine as well as before bed to make sure that the makeup is taken off and also preventing blackheads and any kind of breakouts or redheads?
Yeah, well, I'm gonna thank my parents all for this one because naturally, I don't really break out easy, and my skin is like, I don't wanna say it's not hard to take care of. It's really easy to take care of. So all throughout quarantine, I've just been trying out different products to see which one works best. And right now, all I'm using is a CeraVe and a moisturizer in the morning and before I go to bed. And I actually just started. I'm gonna go pick it up. I just started using this makeup cream remover, and it's so good. It's called Green Clean,
Okay.
and it's the most amazing thing ever.
Does it have anything in it specifically? Does it have like aloe vera or some kind of soothing cream, or does it like make your face cold or hot?
Uh, no, it's just I don't know. I think it has aloe vera in it, so it makes
Okay.
it a lot more soothing.
Okay.
My dog just
Oh no, we always love third comparison. So
Yeah,
and it,
I definitely recommend that. It's amazing.
no, I so now do you, I mean, do you ever sleep with like a face mask, like a cold face mask or hot face mask to just to relax your face, or you don't have that concern currently?
No, I never sleep with them on because my sleep schedule lately has been really off. So, I don't want to leave it on for too long or leave it on for too little. But I do love face masks. I don't have a specific one that, I always go to, but I will like go to the store and pick one up. Love them.
Um, so now that you've won your first pageant and you've won, and arbitrarily, in my opinion, the elite system, looking back at the whole thing, is there anything on that experience that just stood out to you that you could really give insight, as well as just things that you were just blown away by winning the biggest system ever?
There are a few things that I can think of. Outside of winning, I met these group of girls. Going in, I was really nervous, like yes, of course, about the pageant, but also, what if I don't make any friends? I'm here for like the entire weekend. I can't go anywhere else. And I met these group of girls, and we actually, we still talk to this day. and they were amazing. And one thing I remember is that after I won, everybody comes and like hugs the winner and then, they leave. But these group of girls, they stayed on the side of the stage and just waited for me to come off, and they all gave me the biggest hug. And they were all just so genuinely happy for me. And I think that is one of the most like one of the things that I'm most grateful for. Like outside of winning.
No,
And then
I understand Heaven completely.
yeah, and then a few other things. Rehearsals. It was really intimidating rehearsals. Cause it's something that you've never done before. So, and they're bringing people up on stage, and all of these girls, like most of these girls, this isn't the first pageant that they've done. So, they know what they're doing, and they're on stage and they're killing it, and it's very intimidating.
Well,
I
that's a
kept telling myself the whole weekend, like, this is your first time. It's okay to be intimidated. It's okay to be nervous, but also remember this is your first time. Like, it's okay to mess up a little bit and fix it and learn along the way.
well. I mean, clearly that just shows how humble you are because you're fully admitting that you felt uncomfortable. So that just shows how willingness that you're willing to learn and how willingness you're willing to um, not act like you're elitist. So I mean, the people that are usually the humblest are usually the people that learn the most. The people that learn the most usually are the ones that eventually win. So it just shows that from the get go you were paying attention. Are you one of the people that you listen more than you speak and you try to observe the room and try to take things in naturally, or do
Oh, for
you?
sure.
Okay.
Yeah, I tend, especially when I'm in a completely new environment, I tend to how the way the situation is working, what everybody is doing, just that way I can like adjust to it properly. So I
Is
want to say,
it
yeah, like naturally I am an observer.
no? Do you feel that that's the best way to go about like winning the room and really winning the pageant is really allowing other people to be the forefront, or do you think that you could also be the one asking the questions and still come out and be the winner?
Yeah, for me, it worked better for me just because that is one of my character traits that I'm more of an observer. So for me, that seemed to work better, but I can easily see how asking questions can get you farther ahead too. So it's really whatever that you're more comfortable with.
One of the things that you point out is the practice on stage, and that's something you can't really practice for. You just have to go and actually observe it and actually um, go through it or be in the pageant the previous year. So for your friends that may want to and our listeners that may want to compete in the system next year and win your title, sadly, because you can't hold on forever. Uh,
I know.
um, what's that experience like? What should they expect? Do they tell you what to wear? Do they tell you what type of shoes? Is it physically draining? Is it mentally draining? Like, give us an idea
Um,
of what the room is like and what to expect.
for onstage rehearsals,
Yes.
it's or for me, it was both physically and mentally draining because the whole time I was, like watching everybody else how a walk should like where you're exiting, where you're entering, and it was just a lot to take in at the time. So I was a little bit mentally exhausted. Um, but it's also everybody's learning, so you don't really feel alone, and you're in a line full of girls, and everybody is really nice. And so you can just ask the person in front of you or behind you if you're confused about anything. And so that made the experience a lot less scary because you're not going through it alone. And then for me, I love being on stage, not in just rehearsal because it's a little bit more awkward because, there's not the big audience and it's kind of like everybody's just staring at you, but you're not performing. It's weird. And so during rehearsals, it is a little bit more weird than the actual competition.
Is that the real key defining thing? Is that you really love being on stage? I mean, here's the hard question. Do you think that that shy person that's never done a stage performance of any kind, maybe dance, maybe been in a performance, do you think that person can still win? Or do you think that that person needs to learn those life experience and try to go outside the comfort zone? Or do you think that that person can go to a pageant and get on stage and win the first time without really knowing and loving the stage?
That's it depends. I think so. If they're truly, because you can be shy and confident. So if they're truly confident in themselves and confident for what they stand for and for what they want to bring to, the title and the pageant and the competition, then I think they absolutely can win. But I if you don't really like attention and cameras pointed at you and walking on stage, it most definitely will be out of your comfort zone. But one of my favorite sayings is you can't go forward without going out of your comfort zone.
I mean, I like that.
So
That's a great quote. Yeah, you're right. Is there?
yeah, it's
No, go ahead.
sorry, go
No, no, no,
ahead.
no, no. You're dropping you're dropping quarters and dollars here. So go ahead and fill in the knowledge.
No, it's one of those things that I really try and live by because I'm my friends and family will tell you I'm constantly just pulling something new, like, "Oh yeah, I'm doing this," or "Oh yeah, I just competed at Miss Melanie USA and I won." And so I think it just keeps life exciting. It most definitely teaches you new things about yourself, about your skills. And I think that everybody it's most definitely scary. I'm not gonna sit here and tell you that it's not scary. It's terrifying. But once you actually do it, it's probably gonna be one of the best experiences that you'll have in your life.
Okay, so here's the question: if you have someone who's never been on stage, and they want to do a pageant, if not compete in Miss USA Teen, Maryland, is there a suggestion or tip to get over that confidence and make you feel? Do you recommend anything? Is there anything that person can do so that the night of prelims and the night of finals they can do really well?
Um, the only thing that I can really think of is trying to get yourself in front of a group of people and try, speaking in front of them or try doing like, if you have a talent, try doing that in front of them. It's just I feel like even in front of a small group of people, nobody really likes performing in front of people because it's nerve-wracking. So I feel like if you can get some type of practice of doing something in front of people, it makes it a lot easier. And also just remembering that, you know, you're the only one that you should be trying to impress on stage. You should be trying to do your best for yourself. And if you are, then the judges will see that.
I think those are just some great tips there, and I think that I agree with you. The more that you can get in front of that stage and just be yourself and try to just live the moment, I think those are great tips. So I just wanted to take 1 second from this great interview and talk about our sponsor of the week, Mid-Atlantic Video and Photography Productions. No matter if you're planning a wedding, a special event, or you just need an amazing headshot, they are the team to get the job done. You can reach out to them at 443-422-3830. Again, that's 443-422-3830. Or you can go right to their website at mavpp.com. Now let's get right back to the show and listen to this great interview. Now that that moment has happened, they've crowned you. What has really changed in your life? Like, Do you have some sarcastic friends that have like given you a hard time that you have a pageant title and you have the biggest pageant title in the teen category? Like, are they giving you a
Oh
hard
God,
time because of
yes.
so? So, do you feel like you're being a little like shamed because of it? Like, so what are some of the burdens that you've had to take on socially because of it? And of course, there are benefits, but we live in a world that people judge people. So, what are some of the things that they should look out for that you've gone through already?
Um, that's a good one. The first time I went back to school, there of course I have a few friends and they would just look at me from like down the hall and they'd scream, "Oh my God, look, it's Miss Maryland Teen USA." And and everybody else in the hall would just look at me and I'm just at school in my sweatpants and my Uggs and carrying my backpack. So I'm not really doing anything special. And sometimes it's a little awkward because you don't nobody really wants that attention on them all the time, especially when you're not doing anything, you're just going to class. And then I most definitely had a lot of people come up to me like, "Oh, like, how did you win? You didn't do anything," or like kind of just like diminishing the fact that I won as if it wasn't something to be proud of. But it was just a few people like that. For the majority, a lot of like everybody was so excited for me. But it was really just a few days of like, "Oh my God." I had a few friends that will still do it to this day. They'll call me and just be like, "Oh, so how's Miss Valentine USA?" And it's really funny. There's a few people that of course are gonna like judge or look down, but they don't really matter at the end of the day. As long as I'm doing something that makes me very happy. So that's all that matters to me.
So primarily, it's those people that you feel the most close to. You feel that are razzing you when you wish they would just treat you like heaven.
Yeah, exactly. But it's all out of love, They're proud and they're excited and they want everybody else to be proud and
But
excited.
it's also
Sometimes
it also sounds like it's a burden because it also sounds like you're saying you don't want to be felt like you're on stage. Is that correct? 24/7.
yeah, like sometimes I do just want to be a student in a class. But I had to talk with them and I was like,
Okay, so
"Guys,
you did have a talk with them. Okay, so how did that go?
yeah, I was like, "Guys, I love you, and I know that you guys love me, and I'm so appreciative of the love that you guys give, but you don't need to scream that I'm Miss Maryland USA every day." And they were like, "What? You don't like it?" And I was like, "I mean, it's not my favorite thing in the world. Once in a while would be cool, but every day, like people are gonna get sick of it." And they would just laugh, and they were like, "Oh, like okay, we'll stop." And, like, they're very understanding, so it wasn't, a hard time or anything.
And you're currently you're in your second year of high school at this point?
I'm going into my senior year.
Okay, you're only a senior year. So yeah, I mean, senior year is supposed to be very laid back and relaxed. So I assume you don't want any fingers to be pointed at you. And are you do you feel like you've had fingers pointed at you because you have been highlighted so much?
Yeah, for sure, especially when it just happened, I would, like, see people, like, point, and I could obviously, hear them talk about it, but nobody would ever come up to me and talk about it, and it's like, "No, it's okay, you can come and ask me, whatever you wanna say, or, tell me whatever." Like, I'm still me.
Well, I agree, Heaven, and I think the one thing that I definitely want you to know, as a photographer that you've worked with, there's a reason why you won. I mean, I honestly I no I say this.
Thank you.
Okay, I say this very. The photos that we did on our short photo shoot are some of the best photos I have, and it's because I had a great subject to work with. So
Aw,
there is a reason
thanks.
why you won. I know the photo in the competition does not get as much points on the score, but that is going towards your total. So I think that for anyone that said to you that comment that why did you win, there is a reason, right? So
Yeah, thank you.
so don't ever doubt that that's a that comment, because there is a reason. The reason is because you clearly must have won over the judges. You mentioned several times that you have a great connection with your grandmother and your mom, and you have a love for clothing. So you had your wardrobe. So the only thing, and you already had that stage presence. Those are the things that keep on standing out here. I'm just really breaking it down. You knew your wardrobe. You already had your stage presence. You were practicing your interview. Okay. You're naturally confident in front of the camera. Those are like the four categories, because this isn't America, so you don't have to do a talent.
Yeah,
So,
thank God.
yeah, right. So there is a reason why you won. The only difference is you just haven't been doing it for 4 years. So
Yeah.
I think that the people that make those comments are just coming from a very jealous and very uneducated situation there. So it just, some people can't formulate why it happens out of nowhere, but like sometimes success does come out of nowhere. But clearly you have been working on it. How many years were you doing cheerleading and being on stage? How many years were you doing that and dancing?
Well, I've been cheerleading for the past 2 years, and
Okay,
then
so
I've
that's
been
2 years.
dancing since I was super little.
Okay, so you were dancing for much longer, but you've been cheerleading. So you have
Yeah.
all that experience. And then you have all that time shopping with your parents. And then, you can pick up the other skills. And being in front of the camera is just something that, the more, I'm sure you take selfies all the time, and I'm sure you take photos all the time. So it's just something that you can practice, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, um,
Yes, and for anybody that's listening that is new to this and is scared to try it, like my headshot, I took in my living room. Like I had my mom hold up the picture and I had her take it because I hadn't had any experience. I hadn't had any photographer experience. I hadn't had any pageant experience. So don't let like, oh, I'm new at this, or oh, maybe this might not be as good, hold you back from doing it and trying it, because I ended up winning. So I if you're listening to this and you're scared, I'm telling you to just take that step. Do it.
do you think um, having that more innocent photo taken from your mom is what really stood out than working with a professional photographer? Or do you think, would you encourage, now knowing the type of photos that you could have gotten with a great photographer, would you recommend, if they know a photographer to work with, would you recommend to work with a photographer?
Yeah. I would definitely recommend working with a photographer if you can.
Is that
Just now knowing that, because I think I was one of the only ones that didn't have. I mean, like, and I saw a few that like they took it themselves, but it still looked great. It's just that I took it myself and mine just didn't look as great as it could have.
no? And one of the things, I don't know if you know this, but your previous winner also took her own photo too. So I'm kind of cautious to, as I'm a full-time professional photographer and videographer, and no hands do I want people not to call us and to make a but my first intention is I want my friends, which is whoever I work with, to win their competition or get the acting job. I want them to win. So if the past couple girls took natural photos by themselves and not with a professional photographer, and most of the girls are, maybe that was the winning formula. Maybe you unknowingly you had the winning formula.
Maybe
Okay.
I still would recommend
Okay.
like if you have like a photographer friend, or if you know of a photographer, I would, because I think that
So
like
you don't
yes,
think
like
you don't think that played as, you think you could have gotten that nice natural photo with a photographer, even if even if it was with an iPhone or whatever. You still think, that
Yes.
doesn't it. Is it the comfort level behind the person behind the camera to make you feel confident and of your age, or is it something else?
Yeah, I think whoever is taking a picture most definitely has an effect on that. But what was I saying? Sorry. No, yeah, I think they most definitely have an effect on that. But I think that what you do at the competition, of course the headshot is important, but I think, like interviewing, your on stage presence is really important too. So like I don't think your headshot is everything.
But it's a big enough component that you should take it seriously. I
Yes,
mean,
yes, yes.
because that's what you
Yes,
keep
of
on saying, right?
course.
Right. Um, so unfortunately, because typically we're recording this right now in August, and I really do apologize, but I've recorded so many that this episode will probably be going up in January. But um, it looks like your pageant won't be in November for at least the state pageant. It'll probably be later in the year, and usually the national pageant has already happened. Usually it's in June or August. So do you feel excited that you have a little bit more time to prepare? Like, where's your mindset? Have you
Yeah,
have you been
I'm
putting a lot of
definitely
time, focused on that?
yeah, I'm definitely very appreciative of the extra few months of preparation, but I'm also really sad of the reason why that I got the extra time, why I kept on getting pushed back. And so, it's a pro and con kind of thing, but I am definitely appreciative of the extra times to prepare. And,
I,
like, and that they pushed my state pageant back, so I can have a little extra time because, for the past few months, I haven't been able to do, any events or anything because we were, quarantining
I know that.
or self-distancing.
So I know that you had the opportunity to go to Texas and have some photo shoots and have some practices and have some one-on-one time and design your dress, which is awesome. But have you had any opportunities to do any public appearances in Maryland, or that was just about to start when all this started to happen?
Yeah, I had a few, before Texas and but all like the big major events that I had, were like I had like an event every single weekend. So it was March, April, May, and June. And it was like those 4 months that it was like jam packed with events, like all of the really big ones. And then they all just got canceled. And I was like, oh yeah, I was really sad about that one.
So ha- what's your mindset on this? Because you fully admit it, you're not a pageant patty. You're not doing pageants all the time. So, what was more exciting? Was the pageant or the actual the actual public appearances and actual day to day living the life as Miss Maryland Teen USA? Is that doing the public appearances? Is the journey more exciting than that one moment, or was that one moment to you so exciting that the journey is there's no way to compare the journey?
Oh, that's hard. I don't know, they're both very special to me in different ways.
Mm-hmm.
The journey definitely has been crazy. I've grown a lot since last November, like as a person. Um, yeah, the journey is great. I love doing appearances. I'm a people person, so I love meeting new people. I love making a difference where I can. Um, if I can make someone's day, I will. And I I love the dressing up. I love the representing someone's charity. I love it. But also, that the competition is a once in a lifetime thing.
No,
Like standing on
yeah,
stage and being crowned is a like that's never gonna happen again.
right.
And
I know.
so they both hold very special places in my heart, but for different reasons.
I mean, I think those are very fair, and I'm actually, I'm asking this before you even hit the national stage. So I'm sure the national stage is going to be a huge inspiration to you, as well as a huge life moment as well. And fingers crossed, you also will be Miss Teen USA. So I mean, not to put pressure or to scare you or anything, but that's the end goal. Is we want you to come home representing the entire country. So,
That is most definitely the goal.
right, exactly. Um, can you are you or can you do you have like a vision board, or are you envisioning that? Can you see that? Can you see that crown on your head, or is that too much for you to imagine right now? Are you still having to like work up to imagining that?
No, I most definitely have been imagining it and can imagine it, but just like with Maryland, I don't want to get my hopes too high because this will only have been my second pageant, and I will be competing with other girls that that have been competing for years, and do take like also take this seriously. And yeah, so I'm trying not to get my expectations too high. Where like you know but yeah, I most definitely am hoping that I will come home with the crown.
Well, I would say, just someone that is looking um, as an innocent mindset, looking at your situation, if you can just stay that innocent person and bring the wardrobe that they expect, and bring that wholesome person, I don't see why you wouldn't do well. It's hard to say if anyone can win, because you never know who you're competing with, because your biggest competition is yourself. Do you believe that?
Yeah. Yes, 100%.
So, I mean, um, I I don't see why you wouldn't do well. I mean, do you feel that that national stage is different? Do you think it's just another group of girls that just happen to be all across the world, or do you think it's like another level, like it's like it's totally different? Do you have the mindset that it's literally just another pageant with another group of girls that just happen to be from other places in the United States?
I try and look at it from both ways because you know these group of girls of have also had a year of total preparation, and we're all fighting hard for the same title. And so, yeah, these are a completely different group of girls. They've like a lot of girls that compete at the state level, they don't have access to the same amount of resources that you do once you win. And so I feel like it is a different level of competition just because the girls have had more preparation.
Is that a concern to you, or do you think that's something that you can prepare for and be ready for? Because I mean, just because you have more time practicing doesn't necessarily um, give you more. It doesn't just because they have more practice doesn't mean that they start ahead of you. You guys all start at the starting line at the same level when it comes to the talent. All scores are zero.
Yeah. It's not really a level of concern. It would be if I didn't have the same resources like that. Like now, I also have a coach. Because before I didn't. If it was before and I was competing with the resources I had before, I would be completely freaked out. But now I feel like I have what I need to be prepared and to go and compete. So it's not really concerning because I feel like, you know, not one person has more resources than the next.
I just wanted to take one extra second and talk about our sponsor of the week, Mid-Atlantic Video and Photography Production. No matter if you're planning a wedding and you need a wedding videographer, you're doing a music video, or doing a commercial, they are the team to get the job done. You can reach out to them at 443-422-3830. Again, that's 443-422-3830. Or you can go right to their website at mavpp.com. Now let's get right back to this great interview. All right, Heavyn. So this is the part of the interview where I let you take a couple minutes to point out some things that are topical, important to you. So is there anything that is going on that's really important to you that you want people to know, the audience to know more about you, or things in the world, or just in general?
Well, I personally, I'm a very passionate person, and I'm very passionate about healthcare. One day I aspired to be in the medical field. I aspired to be a doctor, and I'm very passionate about education for women and children because I feel like education really is, the path to people coming to having a better life. And I feel like a lot of times resources are denied to a lot of women and children. And just, like social justice, I believe that especially where we are right now in America, that we need a lot more people fighting for it. And right now I'm actually working on a project called Heaven's Angels, and you guys should watch out for it. And what the goal is right now for it, it's that it will be a foundation, and we'll be selling clothes, and a portion of the profit will go to organizations that fund women and children's education. So you guys should look out for that.
So have you purchased the domain? Do you have a website for that? Or are you working on that?
It's a work in progress right now.
Okay. And you're going to sell merchandise and then continue, you're going to donate the profits to local charities or international charities.
Yes.
That's awesome.
And
Or do you have
thanks.
are you going to do specific things that are needed to the homeless? Like, are you going to sell socks, like sweaters, like that kind of stuff? Or are you going to sell more merchandise stuff like just t-shirts and like hoodies and like crop tops?
Yeah, I was um right now I was thinking about selling more merchandise stuff,
Okay.
and then the a portion of that profit I was going to donate to organizations that help fund women's and children's education.
I mean, there's lots of organizations that have that mindset. There's a sock company that donates one sock for every one sock pair purchase. So, um, I think that's a great initiative, and I commend you for doing that, especially during quarantine. So, I hope you get that off the ground and start promoting that. So
Thank you.
yeah.
Yes,
Do
my
you
little work in progress.
Do you have, I mean, have you thought up a logo? Because I love the name. Do you have a logo yet?
It's definitely something I've been working on. As I hate to say, I'm a little indecisive.
Okay.
So I definitely have a few that I'm working with.
Are you doing this all
I
yourself, or are you using like Fiverr or some family friends that are technically um, helping you with that portion?
no, I'm mostly doing everything by myself.
Okay.
Yeah, 'cause it's something that my grandma has her own foundation, and it's called Matthew 2540.
That's awesome. How
And
long?
so
Yeah, please tell us. Yeah, please. Those are some important information. So, how long has she own the foundation, and what's the focus on?
I wanna I'm not sure exactly how long, but it's definitely been over a decade. I wanna say about 17 years. And so she every school year she collects backpacks and, just everything you need for school, notebooks, pencils, pens, and she donates it to kids that in a lower income neighborhood, in a lower income school, and she donates it to the students there. And every Christmas, she takes the same students and she takes them to Target. And she has them write down 3 things, and it's for their families, not for them. And so we take them to Target and they get to pick out gifts for their family. And sometimes kids will be like, "Oh, I want a jacket for my mom so she's not cold when she goes to work," or "I want a blanket for my little sister," or toys for my baby sister. And it's the cutest thing when you have like little elementary school kids, thinking about their families. And so then we take them back to the school and, we help them wrap their gifts, and then Santa Claus comes into the room. And he has this huge, huge bag full of gifts for the kids that they had no clue they were getting. And so then we pass them out to the kids, and on the count of 3, they all open the presents, and then they all have Christmas presents for them and their families now. Because a lot of times, they wouldn't have had a Christmas. Their parents weren't able to buy the entire family Christmas presents.
Well,
So she provides school resources and, a Christmas for them. And I think it's really cool. And I've participated every year, I want to say, for the past 8 years.
I mean, Heaven, that's incredible that your grandmother is so um, giving and selfless to provide her time, her money, and her resources, and go out and find resources to do that for almost, you said almost 20 years. So that's incredible. And you're donating your time to help towards that. I mean that's got to be one of the reasons why they named you Heaven. I mean it's about, your family must be about blessings and giving back.
Yeah, for sure. And I'm so grateful that I was brought up on that. And so I think that's really what sparked my desire to give back in every way I possibly can.
Well, I mean, sounds like your grandmother's foundation's awesome, but I encourage you to do your own thing, and if you feel passion to have your own foundation, then I encourage you to do the same. Clearly, it's done wonders for your grandmother, and it sounds like she definitely made a huge difference in the community. So I hope that her descendants, meaning yourself, are inclined to do that. It sounds like it's a great thing to do.
Yeah, thank you.
So, is there anything else that we really should tell people about, or I will definitely encourage you. We'll definitely have more information about your company and your foundation in the bio information below. So the hopefully by the time the episode goes up, you'll at least have your website up.
Yes, yes,
Yes.
yes.
So, um, is there anything else going on that's really important? Otherwise, we can get back to talking about nationals and your expectations.
Um, I can't think of anything else at the moment.
Okay. Well, I just want to make sure we highlighted all those things. So before I close out the interview, um, now that we've talked literally about winning going into it, winning it, the the expectations, your friends, and all that kind of stuff. What are you expecting for nationals? I know at this point you still don't know where it is. Is that correct?
Yeah, we still don't
You
know.
still don't
I'm
know.
hoping I'm hoping that we figure it out soon.
Of course. Well, I just hope that if they do it in patch, if they do it in person, that you guys can be safe. I'm very cautious, and I want you guys to be safe. I don't want any of you guys to get sick. So, um,
Yeah, of course. And that is one thing that I can say about MUO is that they're really about the girls and their safety. And so I know that they're working really hard to make sure that we'll all be okay.
Yeah, and I think that for it to be on television, because I have a feeling that based on past years, since the new administration purchased the pageant from Donald Trump, that your pageant will probably be a week prior to USA. So you guys will probably be in the same venue. So I assume that everything will be pretty pretty much the same for USA. So I assume that they're going to try and present a product where they don't have to wear a mask, which I hope that means that we're out of quarantine and things are much more safer. So I
Yeah.
just hope that that's possible because I really think it would be horrible for you to be on stage and not be able to smile and have to have a mask on just for your safety.
Yeah.
So,
You know what's funny? You know, that's actually so funny that you said that because I had a dream last night that I was late to the competition because
oh
I
no,
had forgotten my mask
oh no.
in the room.
Well, I mean, are here's the question. Uh, have you at least come up with like a really bedazzled like mask, or have you started making some masks that could go with? Because right now, because I don't want you to like tell the audience or anything, but you do have most of your outfits picked out. So if in case that you do have to wear masks, have you started purchasing masks that fit with the color and the outfit? You mean
Not yet. I've been really hoping that I won't need
right?
the mask at competition, but I most definitely have a little Pinterest board saved with
Okay.
different designed masks just in
So
case I need to go back.
do you think you're gonna? Do you think if you go with a mask, do you think you're gonna go with like just a simple like a cloth, or do you want to bedazzle it, or do you want to have some lace with it and make it really girly? Like what's your
I
style?
think, um, like I said before, my style is very diverse. So I think if we do have masks, I'll definitely have a different mask
For
every
each
day.
for every day, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And
And
what's the and how would it be a plain Jane? Would it be silk? Like what are
it
you
would depend on the outfit. If the outfit, you know, is like really extra already, I think I would go with more of a simple. But if it's more of a simple outfit, I would go with like a blinged out mask.
okay? Um so you're is your thought not to be matchy matchy? The are your is your thought to be like a kind of contrast, like if the mask is like you were saying, if the mask is blinged out, you want the dress to be simple. So is that how you're thinking of it as
Yeah,
going?
cause I don't want, you know, everything to be, like, so in your face that it's kinda hard to focus on what is intentional. So,
Okay.
like, if I want, you know, the outfit to be, like, the focus of everybody's attention, then I'll wear a really simple mask so it's not drawing any attention
I mean,
away from the outfit.
I don't think that, I mean, you're 17, right?
Yeah.
I don't think most 17-year-olds think that in depth in an outfit. So that's pretty. I mean, no, you're playing the long game. Like this is something like if you were playing baseball, you would move the outfielders or the infielders so that the hitter has a harder chance of getting a hit because he pulls the ball. It's like you're really um are you like it sounds like are you super analyzing this like, do you think you're
Um,
overanalyzing this, or do you like? Because to me, it sounds like you're really like that's like some deep stuff.
no,
No, seriously.
in general and thank you. In general, I tend to I don't know if I wouldn't say overanalyze things. Um, I definitely think it through a lot. But especially like since like last night I had a dream about my mask. And so a lot of times it's just unnecessary overthinking
Mm-hmm.
that I get about some stuff. But it was not like I wouldn't say overanalyzing to a point where it's like giving me more stress. It's just kind of like, oh, you know, I wonder what I'll do with this or
Yeah,
you
but
know.
I don't, you know, I don't know if you consider 37 old, but I've been graduated from college for almost for almost 15 years, and I still get those I'm late to college nightmares. So I think that yeah. So I don't I think that you miss forgetting your mask is a normal, it's clearly something that's really you're focused on,
Yeah, I think more of what it is like I don't want something as little as that to like mess me up, you know?
hmm I mean, I think that I assume that you're going to have a bag for each outfit. You just need to make sure that you tag and wrap each mask in each bag. I mean, is
Yeah,
that how
and you know
you
what's so
go ahead, go ahead.
that's how I'm kind of living life right now. Like I have like a whole bunch of masks just everywhere cuz I'm constantly forgetting my mask. And so like if I go to the
So
store or
that's where
something,
so
I would
that's
like
where it's coming from. So you already
yeah,
feel
definitely. Cause like right now, like if I have to go to the store, I would most definitely get to the store and be like, "Oh no, I forgot my mask," and I just already have one in the car already, so that way I don't have to go all the way back home.
and I
So it's so
and I am
funny because you
understand
just see masks everywhere.
right, exactly. And I understand because if you're going to style that mask, you can't just put on a paper mask. It has to be that mask that goes with that dress. So it has to be a specific. So yeah, that I understand that puts a lot of stress on you.
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah.
I really hope that at competition that isn't the case, that we won't have to wear masks the entire time.
Well, I
What I
mean,
do hope, I think it would be cool if they did, if they had masks, if like the pageant designed them and had like, you know, like the logo on the front and just passed them out to the girls.
okay.
I think that would be smart.
So would you be okay with having a unified mask uniform and not having it customizable?
Yeah, yeah, I'd be okay with that.
Okay, so so let's just throw this out. So let's say if you were wearing yellow, you'd be okay with having a unified black mask, even though black usually is not or like maybe like beige with black. It's not very, you know, black usually goes with everything, but like it's not very complimentary. Doesn't make it like pop or anything.
Yeah.
So you
I think yeah, I'd definitely be okay with that. And I think
okay?
it'd be cool if like on it, you know, they designed it, if they had like the logo or like, you know, like the big Miss Teen USA sign. I think that'd be cool.
No, I think that I think you just probably I think you just I think you just I think you I think that's exactly. I mean, I don't know if it was a rumor or you just made thought it out, but like I think that's probably what they're going to do if we do wear masks. We're probably going to have a unified mask. So I mean,
Yeah, it's most definitely just I haven't heard about it. It's
no,
definitely
no,
something I
no, no,
just
no,
thought
no,
about.
no. I think that sometimes what comes off topical, off top of your brain, is usually some of the best thoughts. So I
Yeah, I
agree
hope
with
it is
you.
something.
I think that that's probably that's I think that's more probable than everyone wearing any type of mask they want to wear.
Yeah. Oh, how I hope that we do not need them at
Yes, and
competition.
well, I'm Evan. I'm hoping that you're. I mean, the internet is thinking that it's going to be in January. I know you don't know anything specifically, but that's what the internet is thinking. It's going to be in January, and I'm hoping that we're going to have um, a cure or a treatment in December. So if that is the case, then I'm hoping that you'll get your wish and you'll be able to perform on stage being safe and not having to be so far away, maybe a little bit further away than normal, but you're able to have a semi-normal
Yeah, yeah.
pageant. So, you know, hopefully this is the case. Like I said to our audience earlier, We're recording this in August, so hopefully, and when this goes up in January, we already have the cure and it's being distributed and everybody is peachy keen, and hopefully you know the date of the pageant. So I'm
Yes, that
definitely
is
going
the
to be,
hope.
and I'm definitely going to be rooting for you. You're an absolute incredible person. I am so excited that you're representing my state. I'm a huge Maryland person, and I'm so thankful to have such a genuine person representing my state. So,
Thank you
I
so
would be
much. That really means a lot.
no, and
Thank you.
I really if there's anything that we can do here at the Total Focus podcast as well as at MAVPP Photography to help you win Teen USA, please just let us know, and we will absolutely be rooting for you.
Yes, of course. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you for coming on the show, and we really appreciate it. And after you win, you have to come back on and talk about your experience.
Of course, of course.
All
And
right,
to everybody listening, I hope that you guys have been safe during the pandemic. I'm wishing you all the best.
yes, I agree in a core, and please stay safe. Wash your hands, wear a mask, and please stay 6 feet apart.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much for having me.
Heavyn, thank you so much for coming on the show and dropping so much knowledge. I think that our listeners are just going to really reap the benefit of your experiences. And I really just thank you so much for being on my show and just dropping all of this incredible knowledge. And I am so blessed to have had the opportunity to work with you. And I really appreciate you giving me the opportunity to work with you in the photography world. So I really appreciate really doing some great work with you and for you to be on my show. I want to thank all of our listeners during quarantine and this entire experience. I know this has been extremely rough year, and I really appreciate everyone really working hard here to really stay positive. I'm hoping by the time this episode goes up that there is some positive news, and I'm hoping everyone has been able to stay safe and is still here to get the cure. And I'm praying for everyone. That said, I thank you guys for subscribing to the channel, commenting, and thumbs up. Don't forget that we are both on iTunes and on YouTube. And do not forget, we also have our movie review show with my co-host, Yvonne Carlos, where we talk about movies and just have a good time. So if you love movies and, as all things, just want to have your brain just decompress, please join us. And we would love to have you guys as listeners, and we hope that we can entertain you. And as always, please stay tuned.